For those who do not know me, my name is Jacquette Hatun. I'm going to recite a piece for you today that comes from the Arabian Nights, which is historically accurate for my persona time period. The Arabian Nights was first told as an oral story, right? It's part of the Arabic oral tradition, starting in about the 8th century, and can be traced all the way through. It's still told in modern times. So, with that being said, there once lived near the sea an old fisherman. And every day this fisherman would get up and walk down to the shore and climb in his boat and row out to his favorite fishing spot and throw his net 4 times only every day, for he believed that Allah would provide for him with those 4 casts. So one day, like any other, he walks down to the sea, he gets in his boat, he rows out to his favorite fishing spot, and he casts his net out, and he pulls it back, hand over hand, hand over hand, and he feels the weight of it, and he says to himself, this is a good catch. And he pulls it into his boat and looks down and sees that, in fact, it is nothing but broken shells and stones. So he clears out his net, and he praises the name of Allah, and he casts his net out again, and he throws it even further this time. And he waits for it to sink and settle down, and then he pulls it back hand over hand, hand over hand, and it feels even heavier this time. And he gets it back, and he gets it into the boat, and sees there's nothing in his net this time but a basket of rubbish. So he undoes his net, he pulls out the rubbish, and once again praises the name of Allah, and throws it even further this time. This time it's heavy when it sinks down. When he pulls it back, he is struggling hand over hand, hand over hand, and he finally gets that net into his boat, and nothing is in it except the carcass of a donkey, decayed, covered in seaweed. So he unwraps it, he repairs a couple of spots, and then gets down on his knees and yet again praises the name, and throws that net out again further than he's ever thrown it before. And he lets it settle down. He's praying this whole time, and then he pulls it back hand over hand, hand over hand. He gets it back and gets it into his boat, and at first he thinks it's empty, and he despairs. But as he starts to untangle it, he finds a small copper pot on the inside, crusted over with salt and barnacles. But still, a nice copper pot. He can take it to town, sell it, and provide for his family. But he notices on the top of the pot there's a lead seal with the sign of Solomon on it. And he pulls out his knife and he kind of pries up that seal a little bit and pulls back the lid. And as he does, smoke starts to rise from the pot. And it rises and rises for minutes upon minutes until it takes up the whole of the sky. He can no longer see the shore, and he starts to get a little worried, right? How can all of this smoke be coming from this pot, he says to himself. But he waits, he sets the pot down, and he waits, and eventually all of that smoke condenses into the form of a jinn, taller than the tallest spire of the mosque, wider than he can even imagine. This giant jinn stands up in front of him and looms down and looks at him and says, "You have freed me, and as your reward, I will kill you today." And the fisherman is taken aback. He's, "What?" He's like, "But I shall grant you one boon before I kill you. You can choose the manner in which you die today." The fisherman, obviously distraught, begs the jinn, "Please, no, please, I have a family to provide for. Please do not kill me." And why would you want to kill me? I freed you. And the jinn looks down at him and says, "Well, Solomon is the one who trapped me in this pot. And for the first couple hundred years, I vowed to myself that if any were to release me, I would reward them with wealth enough to live a lifetime without want. And I waited, and nobody released me. A couple hundred years go by, and I said, you know what? If someone were to release me now, not only would I provide them wealth, but a position of status. They would become sultan and rule a great kingdom. Gold and gems, slaves at their behest. And I waited, and still no one released me. So another couple hundred years goes by, and he said, eventually my hope and gratitude turned to anger. And in that anger, I vowed that if any were to release me, I would only grant them death. And the only boon that I would give them would be to choose the manner in which they died. And that is what you have opened today, and that is what you get. So the fisherman is trying to reason, but you can't reason with a jinn. He thinks, and he says, well, please grant me just one question before you kill me, and then I will choose what manner. And he says, I don't understand how you spent so many centuries in this little pot. And he reaches down and he picks it up. He's like, obviously, not even your smallest toe can fit in here. I don't understand. Can you tell me? Can you explain how you fit in this pot? And the djinn says, well, I'm a djinn. It's magic. He said, but you're so large and so magnificent. Can you show me maybe how you go into this pot? And the djinn argues with him for a few minutes, and he finally gets tired of it. He says, you fool! I will show you. And he poof into a cloud of smoke, and he funnels back into the pot. And as soon as all of that smoke is back in the pot, the fisherman takes the lid and slams it down. He presses the seal back, and he holds it up, and he says, ha! You are stuck here. Now I am the one who you must beg. I will throw you back into the ocean, and that is where you will stay, and I will set my house on the very shore and warn every fisherman that comes here to be on the guard for you. And the djinn is concerned. He's just spent centuries trapped in this little pot, doesn't want to live there again. And he says, no, let me out. I promise you this, I promise you that. I'll give you wealth, I'll give you wishes, whatever it is you desire. And the fisherman says, no, you should have thought of that before you said you were going to kill me. And eventually the djinn gets to the part, says, I will make a vow, a binding word for a djinn. I will vow that if you will let me out right now, I will reward you with everything you need to live a healthy life, a good life your family will be taken care of. The fisherman thinks about it for a minute. He says, you vow? The djinn says, I vow. So the fisherman pries open that seal again, and he opens the pot. The djinn, in a puff of smoke, comes out. He coalesces into his form again, and as soon as he does, he looks down and he violently rips that pot from the hand of the fisherman and throws it out to sea. And the fisherman thinks that this is it, this is his end, right? The djinn's not going to keep his vow. But in fact, he does. He looks down at the fisherman and laughs at his terror and says, ha! I am rid of that pot forever now. Let me grant you the wealth I have promised. And he takes him back to shore and takes the fisherman on a great adventure. That adventure is not for today. Thank you.